2 words. Beautifully bad. Ah, man. I probably should start out by saying I was going to film this in my car. But I guess it was the angle my phone was at. It was, like, literally under the windshield. And it was extremely hot in there. So I guess it started heating the phone up, and it started malfunctioning a little bit. And it was saying, oh, certain apps can, work because apparently your phone's overheating. So it's like, I guess I better wait until I get home so I can put it in a nice, cool environment. There you go, this movie's so bad it started heating my phone up. I can just imagine, like, something out of Backdraft now. Or just bursts in flames. Oh, man. They call it a hotline for a reason, buddy. Here's a call. I think it's... Oh! It's like the damn phone in Lidsville. I have to use, like, an oven mitt just to work it. Oh, God. So, this movie, it's not been getting good reviews. A friend of mine at work is curious to see it, because he's really big into The Dark Tower. And I'm pretty sure if he does see it, he's probably going to be in for a lot of problems and nitpicks. And just coming from me, I don't think this is a good movie either. But, if I had to be honest, I enjoyed it for what it was. Not because it's a good movie. It's not a good movie. It's poorly edited. There are some filmmaker decisions which are kind of weird. The whole film jumps from New York City to Mid-Earth, which apparently... this place called Mid-Earth, which is this vast desert wasteland that only exists just to, like, throw in, like, little connections to Stephen King's works. Hell, the whole movie is trying to be, like, one cinematic universe thing. There's a scene where you see someone walking a St. Bernard down, which is a reference to Cujo. There's one where a kid plays, like, with a little 58 Plymouth. It's like a little nod to Christine. Much better Stephen King adaptation, honestly. Come to think, I think that's the only one I really like out of the Stephen King films. Because it has John Carpenter at the helm, and the directions it took in terms of story and characters, it was interesting. I really wanted to see if the car was controlling the teen, or the teen was just going through, like, this big, kill them all kind of phase. And they do make it ambiguous near the end, which works. And it's the only time you actually get to see 58 Plymouth versus Bulldozer. I think it was... Yeah, it's a Bulldozer. Man, that movie frickin' rocks. Go see that one instead of Dark Tower. But if you want a film that's, like, so bad but good, but just so out there, and yet bizarrely entertaining, this is the movie for you. I'd probably put this up there with Super Mario Brothers, Doom, Golden Compass. It's trying to set up this whole universe, and it's really trying to work. And yet the one thing that's dragging it down is the script, because they're trying to inject, like, little exposition spots. They're trying to explain all these things. Oh, by the way, stepdad's working on the bathroom, so if you hear any noise... This is what's been holding me up from filming the rest of the vaulting episode. Episode 91, I think it is. There's a lot of things that are preventing me from talking about this. All I just want to say is that I enjoyed it for the wrong reasons, and yet... nature and all this stuff. But no, the bottom line is that this could have been a good film. This could have been a great film. But what happened was they were working with a script that was not well written. The dialogue is not even perfect either. So what really comes out of it is something that's just so enjoyably bad when it wasn't intended to be bad. It's like that scene in The Producers where all the... I feel like this is like that scene in The Producers where all the, viewers from the audience go into that bar and they're like, oh, did you see that scene? That was awful but hilarious. And you have Zero Mostel and G. Marley going, our intentions of making a flop are ruined. I don't know what it is. I guess it's because the focus is on the 3 main leads, and there's so much effort trying to create this world that, as a result, I think I'm appreciating the effort more. of what they were trying to do, and really everyone that was trying to make it work. And you can tell there's some folks there that really don't seem like this is working. And yet everybody else is really trying their hardest. It's the kid actor, Idris Elba, playing the gunslinger, and Matthew McConaughey is the villain called the Man in Black. Those three people there are trying to make this movie work. But they have such ridiculous dialogue and such poorly made moments. That's really the central element of what drags them down. They're trying to make this work. They're trying to really, put this through and stuff. But because of the delivery on how it's written, that's what really bogs it down, because these are really bizarrely choreographed scenes. There's a bit where the kid goes into the other universe, the Mid-Earth area, and he first meets up with the gunslinger, and when he mentions that he knows him from his dreams and stuff, he grabs the kid, holds him over a cliff, and then for no reason, for like 10 seconds, it cuts to another shot of him holding the kid over the cliff, and then it cuts to a side shot, and it's like, stick to one shot. If not, do like a wide shot with the two of them in there, and then just cut to close-ups or something. We don't need to see multiple angles of what's going on. Show us the impact through emotion, staging, and, what they're saying. Instead, it's like, he's holding the cliff of the kid, he's hitting over here, he's hitting over here. They do it like every 10 seconds. And then afterwards, when he knows about, I see in my dreams, I draw all this stuff, he's sitting, the gunslinger is just looking at the pictures that he drew from his dreams and stuff, and, like, the kid is, like, literally, like, 5 feet away from him, or, 10 feet away from him, like, a very big distance, and he's just sort of sitting there going, no, you see what I mean? Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. No, let's go now. So, what this movie really amounts to is poor direction, poor writing, and that's really what it is. Honestly, this has been in production for a long time. They've been trying to make, like, this big thing ever since, I guess, The Lord of the Rings came out. Sadly, I've never read the books, but as soon as I finish Stephen King's It and The Shining, I'm a little curious now. Purists are not going to like this. They're really not. The way they execute this movie, they pretty much do it like Star Wars. And that seems to be the motive that a lot of people are taking with some of these feature films, ironically with The Force Awakens out and all that stuff. And I know that it's, again, I haven't read the book, so I can't really defend it that much. But when you really do think about it, this is kind of like they're trying to do like Stephen King's version of Star Wars. Like, you have this kid with special abilities, and he doesn't know it until this mentor tells him, oh, yes, you do, and this greater evil power is trying to hunt him down so he can use him for his own abilities. Apparently they're kidnapping kids because they're trying to see if kids have this special ability to destroy this gateway thing called the Dark Tower, which, in a nutshell, is pretty much like a giant gateway that's protecting the different universe worlds and stuff like that. And if it's destroyed, all these monsters and stuff will take over, like, all the worlds and stuff. In this case, Earth. It's always Earth. Why not? It's just so cliched. It's so out there. It's one of those, it has to be seen to be believed, and it's just really for the three leads and just what they're trying to do with this world. There's not even that many creative monsters. Like, even they mentioned this whole universe, there's these rat people that are, hiding out as, like, actual humans and stuff, and okay, that's a neat idea. That's been done before, Hellboy 2. But it's just not well executed. We don't see what they look like underneath. They just keep it a mystery. Or you see, like, this one figure, but you don't see the full face because it's covered by this Hannibal Lecter kind of mask, and it's ridiculous. Even the action scenes are not that interesting. Like, there's this big climax where the gunslinger's going in, he's trying to infiltrate this secret lair, and it's kind of cool, but it's just not well shot. like, once in a while there is a cool scene, like that one in the trailer where the kid's being taken by one of the minions, and he's like a football field away or something like that, and the gunslinger's just like, listening in, trying to see where he is, and he fires one bullet, and it goes off in the distance and perfectly hits the thing. Once in a while there's a cool moment like that. But this whole film, it's just trying to serve as like one giant TV pilot to create this whole other big thing, and that's the case. Yeah, that's probably where it should be. A lot of shows are going to Netflix. A lot of adaptations are, being like this big Netflix series kind of thing. It worked for A Series of Unfortunate Events, because they had more breathing room to introduce this stuff and do all these things. In a feature film, you have such a limited time to sell your universe and all these characters within it that really your next story depends on that first one. And if it's not well set up, if it's not well told, you're going to have a cluster of a film. That's what went wrong for stuff like Dune, The Golden Compass, and even I have a soft spot, the Series of Unfortunate Events from 2005, I think it is, that came out, the one with Jim Carrey, because they were trying to cram so much material in, and yet, in the long run, all you're seeing is just a cliff notes of everything. And that's not really a good sign when they're trying to shove in as much material as possible, and you're just sort of sitting there going, huh? What? Like, there's an opening sequence, no, not the opening sequence, there's a scene where the kid is dreaming, and he's like these really quick flashes of like the villain, the man in black, infiltrating this camp, and then going after the gunslinger and I guess his partner or dad or something like that. See, even that, because then later I have to clarify, oh yeah, this is dad and stuff like that, and for a while there's like a lot of confusion over what this Dark Tower really is. Is it supposed to be like the end of humanity or something like that? And then later I have to keep bringing it up, oh, it's, if they take it down, it's a bad thing, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess. This movie really amounts to, there's good ideas here and there, there's some concepts I can definitely see working. Maybe it was better in the book, but it really just amounts to bad execution making a really, really poorly made film. But I can't say it's not enjoyable. Yeah, Pierce is a novel, they're not going to like it. But for those who haven't read the book like myself, they're just going to enjoy the train wreck. I really don't want to say that, because with so much pre-production work and so much development on what could have been a great adaptation, or at least something of worth, it just turned into a hodgepodge of stuff, and that's really what it exists now as. So, I'm not mad that I saw it, I'm not really upset. It was a matinee price, that's one plus there. But for what it is, it's just ridiculously bad. It's stupid bad. And for the most part, at least it didn't do like this whole fish out of water thing. In a nutshell, it's pretty much a fantasy film crossed with Last Action Hero. That's really what it is. And even though they don't focus on the fish out of the water stuff that too much. Like Idris Elba, like memorizing over, painkillers and Coca-Cola and Geico commercials. I'm not even kidding. There's a scene where he's in the hospital because he gets injured or something like that, and he's like watching like this Geico commercial with the talking raccoons, and he's like, "Ooh, these animals actually do talk in your world." And it's like, oh, they didn't mention that in the other universe. All we just saw were these monsters hiding behind like these thick walls of jello. Even the monsters are not that interesting. They're so uninteresting. They have to like hide behind all this, bleak darkness and these, weird color choices and everything. And even when they do reference Stephen King's like previous works, because this is supposed to be like the cornerstone of like Stephen King stuff. This is like the big, I guess, universe and stuff. When they do it, it's either interesting or it's a distraction. And I think a really good example is where they're in this woodland kind of area, and there's all these like merry-go-rounds and stuff, and you see this big metal sign that says Pennywise. And it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting, but you're just throwing it in there because Stephen King wrote it, and the purpose of the Dark Tower, or at least one of the many purposes, is to serve as like this giant universe of like, Stephen King work and everything. So I really want to harp on this movie for like a couple of other things too, like the cliched abusive parent thing. Apparently, the dad is, I guess, the stepdad is not interested, and the previous dad died being heroic in a fire and everything. And to the film's credit, they don't show it. They actually do kind of mention it in like a news clipping, which I can kind of be okay with. But when you have only three actors that are seriously trying to make this work, and everyone else is just there and reading these lines as what they are, you're not selling it at all. You're just really doing a poorly play adaptation for high schoolers with just big budget effects and everything. And I feel bad because there's moments where it does, like, it looks a little cool looking, like when we see like the little laboratory and everything where they're hooking kids up to this machine that's I guess transmitting their brainwaves to like destroy this tower. We don't know what happens to the kids. For all I know, they probably incinerate into a million pieces like the mothers in Mars Needs Moms. That's probably what it is. Even that's not enough to get me upset at this film, because let me explain. Earlier this summer, I saw Alien Covenant, which was not a good movie at all. In fact, it's worse of the bunch, because when you really do think about it, there's so much factors going into it that make it worse. It's a sequel to a film that was trying to be very theoretical and godlike, and you have Ridley Scott at the wheel that's like retconning all this stuff and saying, oh no, it's not bad, it's this and this and this and this. And just the way Alien Covenant was marketed and the way it's executed so off-tonally and weird and strange and everything, and the fact it's trying to be like a straight-up serious horror movie and you can't take it serious for those reasons, that's really what makes Covenant Convenient a really mishmashy bad of a film, because it's so off-tone. Because 1 minute it's trying to be serious, and the next minute it's being this alien on the deck kind of thing. With Dark Tower, it's different. I feel like they were trying to make like this grand epic, and it just fell apart when they put the last Lego in. It's something that could have worked on paper, but for the most part, the bad execution just made it for something more interesting. So, those are really my 2 cents. On the bright side, it could have been worse. I could have seen the Emoji Movie.